Hello and welcome. That's it. That's the whole intro.
That's our intro?
That's our intro.
Why didn't you say welcome back?
That wasn't funny enough.
I laughed at it.
Well, today we're talking about vampires.
Are we recording now?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, good. I don't have to move forward, do I?
No, this is we'll both peak. We're both far enough away from the mic that it's not bad.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, since you're the vampire expert, why don't you start?
Like, we didn't plan this.
No, we didn't at all. This was the whole point of why I was freaking out about the intro, Violet.
Why does the intro matter? The intro doesn't matter at all.
The intro matters the most because that's the first 3 seconds. People are going to click on this video and they're going to be like, wow, vampires. And then 3 whole seconds later, they're going to be like, this guy sounds like a fucking idiot. And then leave.
Well, I am the vampire expert. I know everything about vampires, but I also have strong opinions about vampires that are wrong. Okay. Right?
Well, yeah, but at the very least, you and I, like, we're both normies. Yeah. In this, where if we were to choose a mythical creature, we would both pick vampires. Like,
well, I mean, I guess vampires is like my standard.
Yeah.
Like, it's my standard monster. I mean, I like all monsters, just on varying different levels. 'Cause, you know. But like, yeah, I mean, vampires is my standard. Like, I would pick that out of like all monsters. What? It's far away.
No. Well, I got wine for us. Perfect occasion for this. And let's start on the first topic. The easiest one for vampires. Buffy.
Well, I mean, you already know that's like my favorite show of all time.
It's the best show ever.
It like literally is my favorite show of all time, though I think I would be a completely different person without Buffy. But I mean, like, I've talked about Buffy to death, you know? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what's your favorite part about Buffy? Like, and what is it about vampires and Buffy that sticks out?
It's got monster fucking. So I mean,
fucking hate you. You're just like, yes, let's go straight into this.
Let's go straight into the fact that vampires are sexy, and it's got sexy vampires.
Let's just go into the fact that I knew I became gay when I saw Spike.
Well, yeah, I mean, literally everyone does.
He's the sexiest man.
He is.
But fuck Angel, Dill.
I don't think fuck Angel, though.
Fuck Angel. I hate him so much.
But why do you even hate Angel that much? I mean, I really like Angel, and I love... My favorite Angel episodes are, like, the ones that go into his backstory.
Well, the only Angel episodes I've seen are the, like, 5 that you've shown me. And then just random clips, which they're funny.
Right, because you didn't watch Angel.
No, I don't want to. I just don't... Like, his character was just... Sasuke, but worse.
See, it's different if you watch his show. Mm-hmm. Like, if you watch his show, like, I still like the Buffy show more than Angel, but because Angel, like, it's got a really dry, like, first season. Mm. Like, they didn't really know where they were going with everything, and they also lost Doyle. Like, that was one of their main characters. Like, the first season of Angel is like Angel, Cordelia, and Doyle, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like they're a paranormal private investigator, right? But they had to write out Doyle because his actor had a major drug addiction. So...
I didn't know this.
Yeah, so, like, they were already trying to figure out what the show was gonna be, and then they had to write out one of their mainstay characters. So, Season 1's very shaky. But I don't necessarily, like, blame the show.
Well, I remember you telling me that, like, all of the episodes and stuff that you showed me were from, like, the second season on.
Yeah,
Angel.
I mean, I like showing you, like, Season 5 the most. Season 5 of Angel, I think, is the best season. Generally speaking, it's the best. It's the most fun.
Nobody talks about Angel, so I keep forgetting that is literally, like, isn't it like 6 seasons? Or is it 5?
It's 5 seasons.
Yeah. That's so many seasons for something that you don't ever really hear about.
Well, I mean, if you're in the Buffy, like, cornucopia fandom, whatever, you'll hear about Angel a lot. Especially if you're looking for it.
But you'll also hear about the Buffy comic books, which you're not a big fan of.
No, I'm not a fan of, like, the after story comics, like Dark Horse. So there's 2 comic canons. Boom Studios, which is the most recent, which is like a complete separate universe than Buffy.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's Buffy, but it's, like, completely different.
Okay.
Alternative take on Buffy. Like, basically a reboot, but, like, totally different story-wise. They do different things.
But I know... Oh, yeah, go ahead. You can finish that. And
then the Dark Horse Buffy comics are the continuation comics after the show ends, which there are good moments, but I don't like them.
So, with that, the Boom Studios, you said? Is it, like, completely different? Like, is it completely far away from Joss Whedon's, like, writing style?
I can't remember if Joss Whedon is a part of it. But it's like, for example, like, Xander becomes a vampire in it.
My favorite, but least favorite character is Xander.
Yeah, and it also takes place, like, they modernized it, so it's in 2020 now. It's not in the 90s anymore.
What?
Yeah, Willow, like, breaks off from the group and has her own separate comic series where she's, like, on out of town on the run.
Okay.
This is consequences to Xander becoming a vampire, by the way. Kendra is alive. So Kendra and Buffy are, like, slayers working together.
Huh.
I guess they wanted to give Kendra a second chance, which, like, she deserves it. I liked Kendra. They had, instead of going the route of, like, Buffy falling in love with Angel, I think they had Angel and Spike forced into this, like, buddy cop comic series, so they had their own separate series.
So they tried to write off the tales of, like the Angel show then, because that's almost what it was in Angel, but they hated each other still.
Oh, they still hate each other. It's,
okay,
like, sort of similar to that, but, like, it's in that universe, so there's not the same kind of, like, hatred. It's a different kind of hatred. Because in Angel season 5, they both hate each other, and they also like to bring up their past with Buffy to hurt each other. So, I mean, but because Angel and Spike, I haven't read a lot of the Boom Studios, like, comics, because, like, the art's really pretty, but I guess I'm just not interested enough. But Angel and Spike don't necessarily have that romantic history with Buffy, so they
don't?
No, because I don't think Angel gets with Buffy for very long, or if he does, it's not for long, and I don't think Spike does either.
Even though I hate Angel, I think that, like, him with her for a while was, like, very needed.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
in the show,
I mean,
like, I that was, like, she was, like, that was, like, the biggest turning point for her in the show when he left her.
Yeah, I mean, Buffy and Angel's relationship is very, like, first love fairy tale romance. Whereas her relationship with Riley is, like, this transitional period. Like, I know you don't like Riley. I don't hate Riley as much as a lot of people do. But, like, it's definitely one of those, like, this is a transitional relationship. You're still trying to figure out the kind of person you are, and it just turns out that this person that you're with just doesn't fit with you, you know? And that's okay. That's how I interpret, like, Riley and Buffy's relationship. Is, like, I didn't necessarily like Riley, but I was okay with them being together for the period that they were. You know? Because it was growing for them. And then, you know, everything bad happened.
Everything bad happened?
Yeah, I mean, season 6, the depression season.
Okay. I know this is a vampire and then like the whole of Buffy is vampires, so I want to bring it up.
Yeah.
I actually tried to rewatch The Body,
Oh,
and I couldn't.
You can watch? No.
I couldn't.
Yeah, I know a few Buffy fans who actually can.
That's like the one episode that I feel like has nothing to do with vampires or anything too.
No.
But it's just because it's in the whole show of Buffy, that one episode that has absolutely nothing with vampires is the most like important episode. I feel like.
I mean, there's no music, there's no supernatural. There's one vampire in the episode, and the fight that Buffy has with it is very like sterile. Mm-hmm. If I could say, if that makes sense.
This was the last time Joss Whedon knew how to write.
No, I mean, I don't think that's correct. Look, I don't like the guy. I think he's a huge asshole and a bad person. But I think it's kind of simple-minded to be like, oh, he's a terrible writer.
No. It was a complete joke.
I mean...
like, Firefly obviously is amazing.
Yeah, I haven't watched Firefly.
The only times I've actually, like, seen him do bad recently is DC.
He's not... I don't think he's good with movies.
I don't think he is at all.
No, like, I don't know, like... there's some of his writing styles that I have a problem with, like the weird way the weird approach he takes to like sexual assault is really like kind of telling about his character. Like even in Buffy, like I think he writes it in a really weird way.
Yeah. That
I'm not like okay with. But like generally speaking, I think his shows hold up really well. Mm-hmm. But he's not good at movies.
I feel like
every time he does a movie, it's like either like mediocre or like really bad and discombobulated.
I've had this conversation with so many people about Joss Whedon. Is just like people think about Joss Whedon only in the Marvel universe or in the DC universe where he's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I actually rewatched Ultron.
Yeah, I don't like Ultron.
I actually really liked Ultron and rewatching it. It was not that bad.
Yeah.
But it was also probably just because James Spader. Is that his name? Whatever.
Who did he play?
Ultron himself.
Right, but here's the thing: that's not Ultron's character.
Yeah, but
Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon wrote Ultron like his usual quippy, like smartass type character, which is fine, but that's not Ultron. That's not how Ultron acts.
Okay, we're not having this conversation right now.
Okay. Here's the thing with Ultron. I think it's here's the movie Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good movie, really like well paced and like put together well in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like literally before Ultron shows up, it's a really good movie.
Okay, but like the whole like I don't necessarily like the whole thing, but the whole part where it's like the strings on me, like freaking him quoting Pinocchio.
Yeah.
I actually really like that. And I've seen so many people be like, "Oh, it's creepy, but why?" And I think that I'm just like, that's the only part that I love.
Yeah, no, the problem I had with Ultron is he was just like a quippy, smartass asshole, and I'm like, that's not how Ultron acts. That's not how Ultron is. He doesn't act like that.
Sure he does.
No, he doesn't.
Sure he does.
No, that was just typical Joss Whedon falling back on his easiest character to write.
Maybe Joss Whedon did nothing wrong.
That's okay. All right, we're gonna have to rein that in.
No, I think. No, but I agree with you with the whole. I don't think everything he's done is wrong. Yeah, and especially
writing wise.
Yeah, especially writing wise. I don't mean anything that
the horrible stuff
he's a fucked
done
up person
as a person. Yeah,
but like the man can write good shows.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened to his movies?
Yeah, like because like he was writing Firefly around the same time that he was writing one of the Alien movies, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And, like, Firefly, I've never watched Firefly, but I know, like, a lot of people really like it. I heard it's really good. But I've also seen his Alien movie that was around the same time, and it's, like, not that at all. Like,
I think it's
it wasn't even, like, he deteriorated. It's just, like, what goes on when he makes the movies over the shows.
I wonder if it's, like, a a timeline thing. Is like he wants to put, because I didn't think about this until right now. I feel like Ultron almost feels like it would be better if that movie was brought out into multiple episodes.
Yeah, maybe.
Because like
if they would have time to actually like, because that movie really poisoned the way I looked at Scarlet Witch for years. Like you know how much I hated Scarlet Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like the way they tried to justify her actions. That was the thing that really bothered me. It wasn't that she did horrible things. It was that we were supposed to sympathize her because, she had a sad backstory, so that means it's okay that she worked for Hydra.
Let's just bring one thing to wrap this whole thing up about Joss Weiden. He doesn't know how to write Quicksilver if he gets fucking shot!
Yeah, I mean, you would think. Like, apparently he read comics, like, he's a comic book fan. How did he not know?
How the fuck do you have literally, like, I don't even know, like 2-3 years earlier, had fucking...
The best Quicksilver.
The best Quicksilver ever in the best scene for Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And then it just like, but mine got shot. Mine got
right, like, what? At the very least, if you wanted to figure out how to kill Quicksilver, why didn't you just, like, go to what the comics say? Like, how Quicksilver dies. Instead of, like, very obviously avoidable bullets for Quicksilver. Like, he could either move... Like, he could literally move the bullets out of the way, or he could...
He literally moved bullets! He moved bullets in the other version of him!
Yeah, he can literally move bullets out of the way, or grab Hawkeye and the kid.
Dude, he just should have thrown Hawkeye in front of the bullets.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously. But we need to go back to vampires.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're talking about vampires. So, I brought...
Yeah, Joss Whedon.
So,
Blood-sucking monsters, Joss Whedon.
Blood-sucking monster, Joss Whedon. I'm gonna bounce around. Because I brought Buffy in for something you obviously know a lot about. And I'm going to bring in some anime. Because I know that a lot more.
Yeah.
Though, actually, let's go for the first anime I actually haven't even watched all the way through. Is Helsing.
That's the one that I have watched.
Yeah, so
all the way through.
So I'll let you... the most that I know about it is that there's Nazis.
Nazi vampires. Nazi vampires. It's been a long time since I watched all the way through. But I think I have watched the abridged Helsing Ultimate. Like, even more than the original.
That's the one part of it that I have seen.
Yeah.
Is the abridged. But I don't know how much of that is actually, like, good.
Surprisingly, like, very accurate to the original story. Like, they don't deviate.
Mm-hmm.
And like the weirdest thing is it's like it's a comedy based show, but they still keep in the emotional moments.
Yeah.
And it's not like treated like a joke, the emotional moments. Like they're allowed to actually work.
One of the things
it's the best abridged series I think I've ever seen.
One of the things that I remember, I think it's from the actual show, and from what I've seen, is I really liked the dynamic between Alucard himself and the Major. I can't even remember her name. Her?
Not the Major. The Major's the main villain, the main Nazi villain. You're talking about Integra.
Yeah.
Integra Helsing.
I love it so much. Like, it's a human that's quote-unquote controlling Alucard, but it seems more like just Alucard's just doing it to help them anyways.
Like, yeah. That's one of the main things is Alucard. It's been a while since I watched the original, but Alucard wants to lose. Like, he wants to lose to a human specifically. And like, Integra has like a seal over him that keeps him as her like warrior slave or whatever. But it does seem very much like he could leave if he really wanted to. Because he's basically invincible. Like, literally, like, he's probably, like, the only reason he dies is because of this weird, like, paradox. Like, they use Schrodinger's cat to poison him so that he's, like, both alive and dead, and that's how they defeat him.
Is that, like, actually in the show? That's how they defeat him?
That's how the Major defeats Alucard.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like, that's literally the only way they could defeat Alucard.
Okay, then. Sure.
Right.
Well,
but he wants to be defeated by a human.
Okay, that's interesting.
He won't let any, like, demon or ghoul kill him, or other vampires. He won't let that happen. He'll destroy them. But the reason why his main, like, rival, Alexander Anderson, is someone that he really respects is because Alexander is a human until the end. Alexander's a human. Mm-hmm. And the minute that Alexander poisons himself to gain more power, basically, and turns himself into a monster, Alucard's fucking pissed because he really wanted Alexander to kill him. Mm-hmm. And, like, he was really hoping, because Alexander probably is the only human that could possibly kill Alucard.
Okay.
You know, he's a regenerating priest.
Yeah.
So, like, he's the only guy that's, like, on Alucard's level. And Alucard is the only one who's able to assess if anyone is on his level. Because he's like, there's no one on his level.
Yeah.
So if he respects you enough, then you're on his level. I mean, Integra is basically on his level because of his respect for her. and that's what furthers their, like, master-servant relationship. Like, it's not romantic, but, like, they've got, like, an interesting dynamic that I really like. Don't get me started on Ceres Victoria. She's, like, my favorite character in the show. She's my favorite because she's, like, basically she's like the eyes for the audience. Oh yeah. Because she's the only, like, normal person that's been thrown into this. Like, you would think, oh, Integra, the human woman, would be, but no, she's just as, like, fucked as the rest of them. But Ceres, newly turned, like, vampire to Alucard, she's the one that gets to see this through, like, completely new eyes.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about her character at all, even watching, like, videos and stuff about the whole thing. The most that I've gotten from her character is she's the fan service character.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. She's got the big boobs. But, like, even the manga and the anime, like, sort of poke fun at the fact that, like, people would look at Ceres as fan service. Mm-hmm. Like, they make jokes about how, like, oh, it's her big boobs, that's her character, but, like, that's not true, but they sort of, like, subvert that. She's, like, she's probably, like, the only moral person.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like, Integra is on the, like, she's on the protagonist's side, like, obviously the good guys, because they're fighting against Nazis, we're not gonna choose Nazis. Right? But Integra is, like, the cold, calculating leader who will do whatever it takes to win. Yeah. Right? Ceres is the only one who actually thinks about things through ethical or moral stance. Because Alucard doesn't care. He is a horrible monster tyrant. He was, like, 500 years old.
Vampire is what he is with fucking desert eagles. I don't care about anything else. He's a hot... Like,
no, I mean,
he's a hot monster man with desert eagles.
No, I'm not denying that. I'm not. You can like Alucard, but no one's looking at Alucard and thinking that's a man who's gonna be ethical and moral. He's gonna be a total, like, upstanding gentleman.
Okay.
Maybe in some circumstances, I guess. Okay. But, like, the way he views the world is almost completely different than Ceres. Mm-hmm. He views the world strictly through, like, blood, death, and violence. He doesn't like it when people commit suicide. He thinks they're weak if they commit suicide. Like, he gets really angry about it. And I think part of that is because he wishes he could die. Like, that's the main reason. Like, other people can choose to die, but he can't. Yeah. Like, he can't kill himself. And he really, I think, he really wants to, and he hates that other people have that opportunity to
Didn't the anime start with him? I don't know if this is Ultimate or if it was the original. Had him like hiding in a basement like for years.
The original anime, like the first few episodes, are accurate to the manga.
Okay.
But the manga was still being made at the time of the original anime, and so they had to deviate.
Oh, so Ultimate is basically just a brotherhood.
Yeah, Ultimate is basically the brotherhood.
Okay. Well, to bring it back to something that you said before, to bring up somebody that is a Nazi that we do want to root for.
No.
Jojo also has vampires in it.
I'm sorry, what? What is the Nazi that we want to root for? You know I haven't seen Jojo. At this point, like, if I was gonna watch Jojo, I already would have.
Okay. So I'm just gonna bring a little synopsis of like the beginning of Jojo for you. Dio is a beautiful boy and he likes to kick dogs.
Okay. That's not you kind of contradicted you. That's an oxymoron. No one can be beautiful and kick dogs. No one can be beautiful and kick dogs. I'm sorry, well, deal breaker.
He is a sexy man. He kicked the dog, not because... this was before he was a vampire and everything, too. So he was already an asshole before he became a vampire, and then he became a vampire through a mask. It's the stone mask, whatever, is like this thing that's in this universe that gives people the powers of the vampire. It isn't from, like, sucking each other's blood or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's from that mask specifically.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting it, and he does the coolest fucking shit I have ever seen a vampire do immediately when he gets the powers.
Yeah.
He immediately is just like, yeah, okay, I've been living with these guys that have been taking care of me and all this stuff, but I have a grudge against him because they let my dad live. He's angry at Jojo because Jojo's dad let his dad live, a drunkard piece of shit dad, and so he wants to kill Jojo and everybody in the Joestar family. Is
Dio the type of guy who would think that the solution to our homeless problem is to euthanize the homeless?
Yes.
Good.
He uses people all the fucking time. In any circumstance. You could be the richest man in the world that could help him in through a million different levels, or like a random homeless man. He'll use you exactly the same way. He'll just use you as a power to get him stronger.
Well, I mean, I guess he's equal opportunity horrible person.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that
he's
he does,
not a capitalist,
is he
so that's a step up.
So his dad saved his dad or whatever from dying, so Dio's dad saved Jojo's dad from dying, and then Jojo's dad said, well, I'll help him get out of jail. It's basically gave him a get out of jail free card that made Dio go through like super abuse as kid, and so he for some reason blames the Joestar family because of it.
Why doesn't he just kill his own dad?
Well, his dad did. He did.
Okay, well then that should be the end of it.
No. But then his dad gave him like a letter so that he could go live with the Joestars because he owed him a debt or whatever, which he didn't. But whatever. So Joestar brings him in and is like, sure, I'll take care of you. So he's been living with him for like his whole, from like kid to 17-year-old.
You adult, 30-year-old.
Gigantic fucking buff.
I've seen them. They're fucking 30. They're not.
They are 17. That is what a normal 17-year-old Japanese man looks like.
Okay. Sure.
And he comes in, and think about it, right? Didn't directly ruin your life. Didn't do anything like that. Then took care of you your whole fucking life, right?
Yeah.
He then poisons and kills Joestar's dad the same way that he did his dad. And then becomes a vampire. And then starts attacking Jojo. Which Jojo's just like, but I'm Jojo. And I'm learning these weird powers that shouldn't exist. And so he's fighting a fucking vampire. And one of the things that Dio does is he fucking walks up a wall by stabbing his feet like through the wall, so his feet are just in the drywall walking up straight up a wall, and it's the coolest thing a vampire has ever done immediately after becoming a vampire.
But is that even a vampire power?
That is now a vampire power.
Not, I don't think that's there are some vampires that can walk up walls, like that's like a thing. Dracula could in the original book. But I don't think he did that.
But did he do it with the swagger of fucking Dio?
No, I mean, I don't think so.
Okay,
but, like, it sounds like Dio wasn't even using, like, walk-up-wall vampire power. It sounds like he was just using leverage by punching his feet through the wall. That doesn't seem like specifically a vampire thing that he was doing.
So to bring it back to where I brought this conversation to, there is a Nazi in the, I think part 2 or part 3, I don't remember. But he's literally like the antagonist for like 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And then he's Jojo, which is the second, or I think it's the second Jojo. Mm-hmm. He's then Jojo's best friend.
That doesn't sound correct.
Because they're fighting Dio.
Dio's not a Nazi, though!
No, but it's okay because Nazis are on the side against Dio.
That sounds like I should be on Dio's side. Connor, I don't think this is correct.
I think I proved my point.
No, I don't think you did at all. It sounds like Jojo is part of the villains.
No.
Was there an editor? Come on, didn't one of the editors, like, who's the mangaka of Jojo?
Oh god, I don't remember his name.
Let
me look him up.
Usually in that case there needs to be an editor that comes in and says, maybe we shouldn't make a Nazi one of the good guys.
Dude, they make everybody they make frickin', like, if they had enough time, they would have made Madara from fucking, why am I blanking? Freaking Naruto. They would have made Madara the freaking Hirihiko never mind. I'm not trying to fucking.
You can do it.
That.
You can do it.
Horihiko. I'm just going to say that because I know I've heard that one be said. I have not heard his last name be said. So, yeah.
Well, I can't see it from here, so.
Well, take my word for it.
Point is, maybe don't do that. Maybe the editor should have said and come in and been like, let's maybe not do that. Let's not do that part.
I think they've made worse people in JoJo. Like,
but those are fictional people. You took like a real life, like, actual thing that is a Nazi.
I think there's worse people like, literally in JoJo. There are worse people that have become like the good guy. Also,
but they're fictional. They're fictional. A Nazi is a real thing.
So is the Nazi, though. Okay, tell me in real life who was a Nazi that came back to life by becoming a cyborg.
I don't know.
That's how JoJo's character's Nazi came back.
I don't like any of this. I don't like any of this.
Okay, so let's bring it on to something else, because I love bringing this up because people literally still think, like, it's not a thing that everybody thinks, but I've heard it every once in a while. People think fucking Tokyo Ghoul are vampires.
Weren't they zombies?
They're literally, it's in the name Tokyo Ghoul. It's a ghoul.
Yeah.
They're ghouls.
But, like, don't they act like zombies?
They're,
I saw the first episode of Tokyo Ghoul, like, 5 years ago.
I feel like they're like fiends, almost. Like, they're like demons.
Yeah.
They all have different powers and stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's ghouls in Helsing, too.
Yeah.
But they act like zombies.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think they're less like that because they still have somewhat control over their bodies.
Okay.
But they do act kind of like zombie or vampires because they do like have to feed off of humans. Mm-hmm. But instead of just blood, they literally just eat body parts.
Yeah, that's not vampires.
Yeah, no.
But
people are idiots
there
and don't
are
know the
vampires
difference.
like that in, like, Vampire the Masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the name of, like, that specific vampire type. But there are, like, if you play Vampire the Masquerade, even just, like, Bloodlines, right? You'll run into Pisha, who's, like, my favorite side character in that game. And she's a flesh-eating vampire.
Okay.
She's, like... if I will do anything for her. Like,
what's she look like?
Let me pull up a picture. But, like, you want to keep up your humanity in that game.
Yeah.
But if you do certain quests for her, you will lose humanity. Oh. And I do it every time because she's too perfect to not, like, I want to do, if she gives you quests, I want to do all of them for her. Like, I will literally I give her, in the full game, you have an opportunity to give her 2 innocent people that she can flesh eat, right? And I do it every time because I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys, but it's Pisha. This is there not, like, a good picture of her? Like, why can't we do that?
That's not allowed.
She's my favorite. She's one of my favorite side characters in the game. Like, I want to just join her.
Thank you for bringing up Vampire the Masquerade because I completely forgot about that in the list of shit that I wrote. Oh, she's cute.
Yeah. That's a mod. Like,
yeah.
Different outfit. But she looks like... When you meet her, she's, like, covered in blood.
She's... okay, never mind, she's not cute. She's hot as hell.
Right?
She got blood all over her.
Yeah, she's got, like, these different colored eyes that most vampires don't have.
Why did they have... What is their name? The fucking Rey. They have Rey from freaking Star Wars. Like, with fake tattoos. Oh, I no longer like this character. Get her away from me.
But yeah, she's one of my favorite side characters. And, like, basically doing quests for her makes you lose humanity. Because she can't, like, as a vampire, you can drink blood of people, but not kill them. She can't do that because she has to, she eats their flesh. So she literally has to kill to live.
Yeah. Right?
So if you give her people to kill that she requests, you lose your humanity. But I'm like, well, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. She's voiced by, the woman who sings the Silent Hill songs.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, she's got a very relaxing voice.
Ooh.
Right.
Okay, but because you brought Vampire the Masquerade, I completely forgot about this. D&D and everything like that. I played a fucking Vampire the Masquerade, like, game, the campaign.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun playing as the freaking vampire.
It is a lot of fun, yeah.
And my DM decided to, like, have our characters be killed in, like, 5 sessions. So we, like, did 5 4-hour sessions with these characters, and then they died.
Yeah.
And then we were humans that were hunting vampires in the same world.
Yeah.
And that was about, like, 3 sessions of that. And then we realized that our other characters were still alive, and we were hunting them.
Yeah.
And I was like, you piece of shit, I wanted to be a vampire the whole time.
It's a super fun game. Both the tabletop one and then the Bloodlines. I know there's another video game, Redemption, that came out a few years after Bloodlines.
I think there's one that's coming out, too.
Yeah, I'm starting to get worried about it. I was supposed to release a while ago. I'm worried that it's falling into the Cyberpunk 2077 route.
Oh.
Because they lost, like, a bunch of developers. Something, like, it's not looking good. I just hope that when it releases, it'll be, like, a decent game.
Yeah, that's sad, though.
I'm getting really worried about it. Because I was super hyped for it when they announced it.
That's so sad that we can say that now. This became so in Cyberpunk 70s. So,
and it's like, you know exactly what I mean when I say that.
Cyberpunk. Fuck.
Right.
I'm angry.
I mean, what came out of that game that was good? Keanu Reeves, that was punk with a robot arm.
I heard that everything with Keanu Reeves in it was the only good part.
That's what I heard too. I mean, he looks really hot in it.
I heard the story in general is really good, but him in general is like the best part.
Well, I heard the story's not good because they barely, like, there's not much of a story. And then once, like, I haven't played it, but I've heard things that happen in it, like glitches aside, right?
Yeah.
Glitches and bugs aside, I've heard some things in it, like it's a cyberpunk game, and you play a cop. That doesn't sound correct.
You play as a cop? I don't know. I bought the game and I went through like the tutorial, and it was like I played it as soon as it released, and I knew there was gonna be bugs. Mm-hmm. But it was so buggy I couldn't play it.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It was absolutely fine until I got out of the tutorial.
Yeah.
And I played it like day of, and it was just bad. And then I never went back to it. So that was like $60-$70.
And it made me feel bad for like the game devs who like were overworked and worked on it, because they didn't deserve that. They really worked really hard to try and make it a good game. But you can't fix poor management. It's like
sometimes you just gotta learn you can't fix stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the people in charge of management for that game shouldn't ever work on a video game again, honestly, because of what they did to the people working on it.
Well, let's talk about a good video game with vampires.
Yeah.
Vampyre.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I was just playing that before you picked me up. I know a lot of people actually don't really like that game.
Oh, really? I played like a good 2 hours of it. 2 hours of it. I didn't play a lot of it so far. But I love the fuck out of it.
It's one of my favorites. I think I already
ruined my route because I've been fucking killing people.
If you want like the best ending.
How do you go through the beginning part of it without killing people?
It's really difficult. That's kind of the challenge part of it. But if you want like the best ending, you want to not kill people.
I immediately started killing people, and then I realized that you told me that there's 2 different routes, and I'm
there's like 4 different routes.
Oh, okay.
So the extent to which you kill people and like ruin people's lives, and then it like also not killing people at all, and then there's like mediocre.
Oh, that's cool.
Like medium endings.
Oh, that's cool.
I got the best ending because I don't like being mean to people, even in video games.
I literally do not understand how you can get through past that first part without killing somebody, but you've seen me play fucking Resident Evil 8, and I am the stupidest man ever when it comes to like puzzle solving. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Have you met McCullum yet? Jeffrey McCullum? He's the main like vampire hunter.
I don't know. I got to the part where you like go into the bar. Mm-hmm. You go into the bar and talk to the guy in upstairs.
Oh, that's the very beginning.
That's like literally the beginning. I did not play that much of it. It took me 2 hours to set up everything because I was just an idiot.
Yeah.
So I count that into my time of me playing it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know a lot of people, they don't hate the game. But I know a lot of people are like, we're disappointed in the game, which like, the only major complaint I had with it is like, there's no like, what's the word? Warp.
Warp. Oh, so there's no time or travel.
Fast travel. Fast travel. That's it. There's no fast travel, which was the only complaint I had with it because. There comes points in the games where I'm like, constantly walking around London. And it's like, that's not an issue when you first go to those places, but like, you have to backtrack a lot, and it gets really, like, kind of frustrating.
I think it might be a thing of, like, people are spoiled with those types of games now. Like, the games that you could think of when you think it has multiple endings are either shit styes, like freaking Telltale games.
Yeah.
Like, Telltale games are amazing for story, but their fucking actual choices make no sense, and they don't change anything anyways.
I hate when that happens. Like, make the choice matter.
Or, like, the best things in the world, like freaking Infamous.
Yeah.
And, like, Infamous would probably be the closest thing to compare it to, because it's more choice of how you play rather than, like, what dialogue options you have.
Yeah.
And then freaking just Infamous is so fucking far and beyond the coolest fucking game ever created.
Yeah. Like, if I'm thinking of, like, meaningless choices, like, you remember Resident Evil 7?
Yeah.
Where you could choose Zoe or Mia? And it, like, you choose Zoe, and it's like, oh, bad ending, whatever. But, like, it would have been cooler if, like...
It would have been cooler if Zoe was the right ending.
Well, no, it would have been cooler if, like, both were... if there were, like, four... Ooh, both were sort of bittersweet endings. Because it is, like, unless you played, like, the DLC end of Zoe, right?
Yeah.
It's still bittersweet that Zoe didn't get to live, right?
I've drank almost this whole thing, and you haven't even drank your first frickin' thing.
Because I was drinking my coffee.
You're a piece of shit. This is... drink your blood.
Yeah, unless you played the DLC end of Zoe, like, it's still a bad ending for Zoe. Like, it's bittersweet. So I think it would have been, like, a better choice if you had picked Zoe, that it still would have been, instead of, like, straight up just a bad ending, it would have been a bittersweet one. You know? Like, that's the only complaint I really have with that game, honestly. Is just like, well, why even put this choice in if it was so obvious, like... choosing Zoe, like, didn't even matter. You know?
Okay. Yeah. No.
And even though...
I don't even remember the other ending other than Mia's ending, because I'm one of those people that are like, I'll play the one ending that I choose, and then I'll end the game.
Yeah, I mean, I do that sometimes, but Zoe, it's both Mia and Zoe die.
Yeah.
If you choose Zoe, and it's just like, well, okay.
Yeah, I know. That made me mad. I think I chose... Which one did I choose? I think I chose Zoe. And then they both died, and I was like, yeah, fuck that. So I watched the ending. I think I watched, like, freaking Jacksepticeye's ending of fucking Resident Evil 7, and that's just what I remember, is that ending.
Yeah, because that's basically the only ending.
Yeah.
Like, the idea that you chose Zoe is, like, just a fluke, you know? Like, they should have just not had the choice at all, really. And even though that's, like, my main complaint, it's not even, like that big a deal to me.
Does 8 have a weird
ending? No, like it doesn't have multiple endings. But
I don't want to know, because I'm not there yet.
I saw you stream today. I didn't get to watch it because I was down my head.
I didn't stream Resident Evil. I was playing COD.
Okay.
So,
then don't worry about it.
No vampires. No hot vampire ladies.
Hot vampire ladies.
It's okay. There's no hot vampire ladies in my Resident Evil 8 anyways, because she's dead.
You killed them. You killed all 4 of them.
No, I killed the one, and then the others were bug ladies.
They're vampires.
Right? Bug ladies are hotter than the freaking
No, but they were, all 4 of them were vampires. They were just, the daughters were just different type of vampires.
Where the fucking fiction does vampires turn into bugs?
Some vampires turn into swarms of bugs, actually. Like,
I've heard bats, I've heard wolves, I've heard, like, them just turning into, like, anything.
Yeah,
but I've never heard a swarm.
Yeah, swarms are actually most common.
Really?
With like, vampire, like, folklore.
Am I an idiot?
I mean...
Don't fucking make that face.
No, I mean, it was totally, like, understandable. Like, I totally understood what they were referencing by them turning into swarms of bugs.
Yeah.
Usually it's bats, like swarms of bats.
Oh, swarms of bats?
Some of them turn into some of them turn into swarms of bats. I've seen butterflies before. Mm-hmm. Not as common. Usually it's a swarm of something.
Huh.
Anything that flies, they can turn into the swarm of that.
Oh, that's cool. I never even thought of that. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I guess I've just read the wrong fiction or watched the wrong fiction.
Yeah, I guess.
I've only read half of Dracula's too. So.
Yeah, well, but even like the daughters, they bite you. Mm-hmm. Like they like if they catch you, they bite you. So I mean,
okay.
I wish Heisenberg bit me.
What? He wouldn't do anything. That would just be him biting you.
That's
isn't
okay
even...
though. That's not a problem.
Shut up. Look, just because he looks like Mr. Krabs.
What? You saying Clancy Brown?
Just because he looks like Mr. Krabs.
No,
okay?
Look, you have to understand, video games are really tailoring to the female fantasy. And what women want are dilfs.
Are you kidding me? You're telling me that that I'm not into the dilfs too?
Yeah, have you seen Dante? Yeah, you understanding that we are finally getting our heyday of the female fantasy in video games by these rustic dilfs.
Okay, I just want to say, I am the straightest man in the world, right?
You would fuck Dante?
I would fuck the shit out of Virgil.
Yeah, really? You would pick Virgil over Dante?
I would fuck the shit out of Virgil.
But you wouldn't fuck Dante?
I've never played Devil May Cry.
Neither have I, but I would fuck Dante.
I'd fuck the shit out of Virgil, mostly just because his theme is better.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means everything.
He's literally, from what I've seen, he's literally emo boy Sasuke.
Let me explain something to you, okay?
Is that what you like?
Let me explain something to you, okay? Let's go on to the next topic.
Jesus. I mean, speaking of tall lady, though.
Yeah.
She is my number one. I know you like the daughters more.
Yeah.
But that's because we've discussed already that you have different taste in women than I do.
No, but let's say it for the podcast. You are more into the classic
classic goth.
What is it? I'm trying to think of the name. The time period.
Victorian.
Victorian goths.
Victorian and sorta. Well, I mean, Lady Dimitrescu is 1930s, but she's still classic goth.
Yeah.
Very classy goth. I love that shit.
Very much more into the not exactly modern goth because
you like alternative goth.
Alternative goth, yes.
Yeah, I mean her daughters look like they're going to a Slipknot concert.
Dude, let's go to a Slipknot concert while they fucking eat me.
Yeah, right. You like the alternative goth, which I'm attracted to her daughters too, but I gravitate more towards the classic goth, and you're the opposite. Which is fine. I mean, that just means you get the daughters and I get Lady Dimitrescu. Which is win-win. I
mean, win-win. I have 3 girls and you have 1.
Yeah, and one of them is 10 feet tall.
Excuse me,
that's
9 feet tall. I know more about your waifu than you do.
Shut up. That's 3 in a trench coat.
I don't trust like that, okay? I don't trust like that.
But then definitely Carl Heisenberg. My main waifus in that game is Lady Dimitrescu and Carl Heisenberg.
Now the real question is Heisenberg a waifu or a husbando?
Husbando.
Is he? Or is he a waifu?
He's a husbando.
Okay. I haven't got to the part where you're actually I just got to the part where he asks to be your work with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, why the fuck aren't you working with him? He's the hottest fucking man in 80 miles.
I know.
You're telling me that you wouldn't become gay you look directly at him and you go, God damn. Mr. Krabs has never looked that hot.
He's not as old as the Clancy Brown from Detroit Become Human.
He's not.
He's not. I mean, he's not.
How old is he?
Well, I mean, he is older.
Is he older than Lady Dimitrescu?
No, he's younger than Lady Dimitrescu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought he was older.
If you read the you haven't gotten there yet, but you'll reach like Mother Miranda's like lab, and you get to read everything on each of the lords.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Karl Heisenberg was the last one to be infected.
Oh.
Like, out of all the children. Okay. But he's still relatively old. Like, from what it seems like, he was infected in, like, the 1940s.
I also want to, I'm not that far into the story, so you can tell me to fuck off if it is a spoiler, but when I first started it, and Heisenberg was there, he seemed like he was the one controlling the lycanthrope. The
Lycans?
Yeah. Am I wrong?
It seems like the Lycans are all failed
they're
experiments.
Yeah.
And
I read that with the one about Lady Dimitrescu.
Yeah. But it seems like Lady Dimitrescu made her own failed experiments. That's why they look like vampires.
Okay.
But like the Lycans in general are like failed experiments from the village.
So basically any of them could control the Lycans then.
Yeah, but it seems like Karl Heisenberg, like, it seems like they answered directly to Mother Miranda, but like Karl Heisenberg is like second in command.
Okay.
Like he's taken up that role for them.
I love him. I love him so much.
He's great. I love him very much. If anything, I would have preferred a choice for this game over Resi 7.
So,
just to see what would happen if you teamed up with Heisenberg. I understand, like, the reason maybe they didn't do that was because that would have taken away a boss fight.
Yeah.
Like,
it would have taken away and I've seen his boss fight, so I know that he's just a fucking globule of fucking...
He's a transformer.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, because he's based off Frankenstein.
He is fucking Magneto on steroids.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, he's based off Frankenstein. I know a lot of people were like, oh, he's the werewolf one, right? But those are just the Lycans.
Mm-hmm.
But he's Frankenstein. So what's cool about Resi 8 that I really like is Resi 7 was very much like based off of slasher horror from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like Blair Witch Project at the beginning of that game. You know, definitely Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, yeah.
The whole feel of that movie.
Yeah.
The Hills Have Eyes. If you've seen that movie,
I have not seen that.
The Hills Have Eyes is a fucked up hillbilly family, basically. Definitely.
Wait,
that.
no, I have seen The Hills Have Eyes. I watched that. Yeah, no,
yep,
I did.
That one definitely. Like,
yeah,
those
no,
are
that
the
one
three
was
movies.
Fucked.
Yeah, those are like the three movies that I would definitely like. Resi 7's all about that shit. Resi 8 is like classic horror.
Yeah.
So, like, Lady Dimitrescu in her castle, that's Dracula.
That's Dracula,
all around.
100%.
Heisenberg is Frankenstein. Okay. Moreau is Creature from the Black Lagoon.
What would be the doll then? I can't remember.
Donna Benevento. That's Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
With the face and all that.
Yeah.
And then the Lycans is Werewolf Man.
Yeah.
I don't remember what Mother Miranda was, though. I'm trying to remember what that one was. Mm-hmm. But it's all classic horror, which I really like. So they went from 70s, 80s, 90s to black and white horror. Classic Universal monsters. Really liked that. I'm wondering what they'll do next. If they're going to continue directly from 8, or if they're going to go back to, like, Leon or something.
I don't know. I feel...
I would prefer that they do something with, like, Jill Valentine. For fucking once. God damn.
It'll never happen.
We have so much story with fucking Chris Redfield and Leon. Can we, for once...
Hey.
Focus on...
Chris got beefy as fuck in
that
this
doesn't mean anything to
but
me.
But he's beefy as fuck.
Or hell, even Sheva from fucking 5.
I have not played any of the other games. So.
Yeah, Sheva. Like, she's a totally underutilized character that they could do something with, you know? She was Chris Redfield's partner in 5. 5's not really a good game.
Yeah.
But like,
from what I've heard.
But like the dynamic between her and Chris made her seem very much like they could do something interesting with their character. Surprise, surprise, we've never seen her since. So of course.
Oh my god.
Like, why? Why do they keep doing this?
So, okay. So to bring it onto another topic, I read. This is completely different, but it's still Vampire. I read all of fucking Happiness today.
Yeah.
In preparation for this, I just randomly was like, let's start Happiness, and let's start it, and I'll just see if I want to talk about it or not in the podcast, or we could just hop over it.
Yeah.
And I read all 50 chapters in like a couple hours. It's made by one of my favorite mangaka ever. He also wrote Blood on the Tracks, which I have the mangas for. It's one of the best mangaka for horror in general.
Yeah. Besides like Junji Ito.
Yeah, and he's like where Junji Ito is really good at making like
cosmic horror,
cosmic psychological horror. He makes like it's not body horror, but it's like just facial expressions and just like the terror that is just almost psychological oh my god, it's so sexy.
Okay, well, describe Happiness to me without like spoiling.
Happiness starts out where it's just this kid walking around every day. It almost looks like it's gonna be a freaking like a slice of life.
Yeah.
And then he gets attacked at night by this vampire. Mm-hmm. And literally the vampire is like, do you want to die here or do you want to live? And he fucking sobs and is just like, I don't want to die. And then it's like a bunch of chapters of just him going through the process of becoming the vampire.
Yeah.
But vampires in this universe don't die in sunlight. They're just super weakened. And the curse of like needing to feed is so beautifully illustrated.
Yeah.
It's like he's legit, like you look at the panels and it's like he's legit like feeling wavy and everything, and you can see the whole world like waving with him, of him like smelling blood through. It's really gross at the beginning because no spoilers, but he smells girls' period blood.
Well, I imagine most vampires actually do. So, I mean,
I never thought of that.
You never considered that being a possibility?
Throughout all of fucking Vampire, I never thought, I smell some blood pussy.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's like, you don't think about it, but then you're like, oh yeah, obviously they would.
And then it, like when it happened, it was like, oh, that's really interesting. Oh, that's really obvious that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, of course it would. I'm surprised. I mean, I guess it would be kind of weird and skeezy for some writers to approach it that way. But, like, I'm surprised there isn't more media of vampires talking about the fact that they literally would smell any kind of blood.
Uh-huh.
You know?
But it was so interesting the way that it was like, it's almost like a completely different take on the vampires in general.
Yeah.
Because instead of, so they have like a secret society of people that know who the vampires are, but the vast majority of people don't.
Yeah. And
it's so crazy, like, how they work vampires into it, because it's almost like vampires in general don't exist other than these like few that you see in this manga, because they'll either die out or get captured and shit without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so cool seeing that, like, it's almost like something that could happen in real life, because it's so localized, because it's almost like it would immediately go out if it was more than the people that are already there.
Yeah.
and it's so beautiful, and he's just the best fucking person in the world to express feeling through just facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of in his manga in general that's just, there's panels and panels and panels like Blame, where it's like no dialogue at all.
I freaking love
and
Blame,
it's
by the way.
just people reacting.
Yeah.
Or just people moving through a space and getting terrified by like their own like head thoughts of like what's happening around them.
Yeah.
And it's so good. It's so beautifully illustrated. And
I love Blame. That's a good example.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get me to read something right away. Like, Blame is so... Blame encapsulates all of my fears about the world.
But I wanted
I mean,
wanted to
really.
bring up this thing, though, because it's really funny, and it happens, like, within the first 5 chapters, so in the first volume. And I always think of, like, the first volume of things are, like, free reign to spoil.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're okay with that or not.
That's fair.
But, so the first volume, like, and there's a part where he, like, explains, like, how he got attacked, and he went to the hospital for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that it's he got attacked, and they're like, oh my god, what, did you see the guy? And he's just like, it was a woman. And everybody's just like, ha, pathetic. You got attacked by a woman?
What?
And I just think it's the funniest shit in the world, because in his writing, he's so good at making, like, everybody's on equal ground.
Yeah.
No matter what, if you're a powerful, like, one of these vampires or anything, or one of the humans, you're all on equal ground. You're either fucked if you're a human, or you're, like, a badass if you're a vampire. It doesn't matter what sex you are.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's like he brings out the, like, haha, you got attacked by a woman, but really fucking nobody could have ever
right.
done anything about it. And
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah. No, that sounds really good. I know you got me, like, the first 3 volumes of that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I haven't read yet.
I'm so glad that I read it, though. It's... Ooh, I can't wait until I can, like, talk to you about it in full.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, right.
So, to bring it into another manga,
Uh-huh.
or another anime, that's a completely different style. Let's talk about Bakemonogatari. Do you know anything about that?
Haven't watched it.
I
Is there
don't need
vampires in it?
I don't need to tell you anything about it at all.
Uh-huh.
594-year-old vampire.
Uh-huh.
She's a lolly.
God damn it. Fuck.
The best vampire to exist.
Ugh. I hate when they do that shit.
I love it. I love it so much. It's so funny. She isn't a lolly the whole time. It's like there's different different
really
timelines and there's different parts of the story that like it isn't in order.
Yeah.
And the first season that you see her, she's a lolly.
Yeah.
But then in like a different season, she's like a MILF.
How's she become a MILF if she's a lolly?
I don't know.
If she's an eternal life.
I've only seen the first season, but it's literally just like it's about all these like basically a bunch of different things at once, like blood type and then like star signs and all. It's like literally everything you could think of, which is mythological.
Yeah.
Put together, and then randomly there's also just vampires too. Mm-hmm. But she's literally not talked about at all, other than just she's the cute girl in the corner for the first season.
Like I only count them as lollies if they're like sexualized. Like
she isn't.
Okay, then
at least in the first season. I bet you money that she probably gets sexualized later. But she isn't right now. As far as I've seen.
Because I think there's an interesting thing to, like, when vampires, specifically, are used as, like, and Anne Rice, like, almost does this. I know you're not, like, a Vampire Chronicles fan, but yeah. I am, and it's exhausting.
Well, I was gonna say, like, the next thing I want to bring up is something, so, I've been talking for a long time, so let's talk about the Vampire Chronicles and like Vampire, the interview with the vampire in general.
Yeah. Obviously, like, if I was gonna recommend anyone to read Vampire Chronicles, I would really only recommend the first 3 books. There's like 14 books in the series, and I would only recommend the first 3. And look, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, well, you're a huge fan. How can you say that? Whatever. If you are in the Vampire Chronicles fandom, 90% of the people in that fandom will agree with me.
Well,
most of interacting with the VC fandom is us complaining about how horrible the writing got. And complaining about Anne Rice herself.
So you brought this up to me once before, and you had a big rant about it. But I want to say that I did go into that fandom a little bit, just a tiny bit, and it was so funny because 90% of it wasn't even them complaining about it. It was 90% of them reading it because they wanted to complain about it. Not because...
Some of them do, yeah.
They wanted them to keep writing and keep making more books because they want to shit on the next one as well.
That's true. A lot, and that's honestly a lot of longtime fans. Because at this point, we've given up on, like, a good story coming out, right? Well, so whenever Anne Rice comes out with a new book, we're just like, oh, how shit is this gonna be?
That's how... You know? I just want to bring this up. This isn't really vampires, but let's pretend there's vampires in it because they're just never spoken about. I feel like that fandom is how I feel about J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
It's just like, please stop writing.
Yeah, right.
Please stop talking about Harry Potter. Yeah. I'd like you to end it.
Right. Like, I'm not in the Harry Potter, like, fandom at all. Like, I grew up with it, but I never got attached to it, really. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of Harry Potter fans feel the same way about J.K. Rowling that Vampire Chronicles fans feel about Anne Rice. Yeah. We don't like Anne Rice. We think... I have no idea what happened, like, after the 3rd book, right? Mm-hmm. And there's problems with, like, the 3rd book in general, but, like, not enough to... They're not glaringly enough, like they will be later. Yeah. But, like, speaking of, like, the 500-year-old Lolly, right? There are 2 characters that are turned into vampires as children, right? In the first book, it's Claudia. She's, like, 5 years old when she gets turned into a vampire. And it really delves in really well about the emotional turmoil of being a 60-year-old woman in the body of a 5-year-old. Yeah. You know, it really, like, it gets into the nitty-gritty of how horrible this kind of life would be for a person, right? Then there's Armand, who's, like, 17, right? His story is even more tragic in the way that he became a vampire, because he was groomed and sexually abused by the man who turned him into the vampire.
Oh, jeez.
Marius, right?
Yeah.
A lot of interesting stuff they could do with that. Anne Rice never fucking gets into it. That's the main issue I have with Armand. Like, the horror of his existence is that he is this child that's been sexually abused and groomed and then became a vampire as a child. And he's 500 years old. Right? We could get into that. Like, I really wish Anne Rice... Because Marius, the guy who turned him, he's also one of the main vampires of Vampire Chronicles, right? And a lot of people make the argument, oh, well, that's just how the times were, right? Yeah. And it's like, well, why can't Anne Rice just delve into it? Like, she never talks about it again. She brings up that these things happened, but Marius never, like... We never learn more about Marius being, like, this more... Because he's treated like he's just a good guy. Marius is. And it's like... He used to think Armand was, like, this innocent angel. And then Armand became a vampire and resented his existence and became very, less moral. Like, he's a more ruthless vampire. And then Marius is like, oh, my sweet angel became evil. Not really, but, like, he became, less angelic or whatever. And then their relationship broke apart after that. And it's like, well, Marius, this is a child that you did this to. Why can't we ever get into the moral quandaries that you have about your actions and the reason that Armand is the way he is? Anne Rice doesn't do that because she's not smart enough. She's not smart enough for a lot of things. I hate to say that about a person, but she also, like, sued fans who wrote fan fiction about Vampire Chronicles.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
She put out cease and desists to people who are writing fan fiction about Vampire Chronicles, so I don't feel bad about saying that she's a bad person.
Dude, I think people that talk shit about fucking fan made like shit makes no sense at all.
No,
like,
because
J.R.R. Martin fucking hates it.
Yeah, but like, isn't Game of Thrones just Lord of the Rings fan fiction?
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
Right?
That's literally how I see it. It's just like
and what about anyone who does an adaptation of Dracula? That's fucking fan fiction.
It basically is.
That's what's anyone who does an adaptation of a book. That's fan fiction. Because it's not going to be the same. Mm-hmm. Anyone who does any kind of... anything that's in the public domain that they do, like, an adaptation of, that's fan fiction. Like, it's ridiculous to me. So she... like, back in the early 2000s, right? She put out cease and desist to people who were writing Vampire Chronicles fan fiction. And I think it's just because she's mad that they can write it better than she can.
Well, let's speak about fan fiction, okay, for 5 seconds. Twilight is the best vampire show ever created, right?
What vampire show? It's a movie series.
Yeah, it's a show. No, I do not give it the light of day that it's a movie franchise, because it isn't. It's just a shitty show.
Well, it's Vampire Diaries.
It's literally just Vampire Diaries.
We were gonna watch that, by the way. We have to marathon that. Because I've never watched Vampire Diaries, and I have to. I can't call myself the ultimate vampire fan if I've never watched Vampire Diaries. I feel like a fake.
We should watch Vampire Diaries and then, like, hate ourselves the whole time, but keep watching it.
Oh, we will. We will. We definitely will. Okay. I heard she doesn't even get with any of the guys.
Are you kidding me?
Isn't
that the whole fucking point?
I thought that was the whole point.
I didn't know this was a fucking harem manga fucking show where, like, literally nobody is chosen at the end.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's what I heard.
That pisses me off.
They did that with True Blood, too.
That's so
She didn't get with either of the guys. Even though there was clearly, like, a superior guy.
What the fuck?
Like, True Blood... To be fair, I haven't watched True Blood.
Yeah.
I've actually been planning to watch it, and I asked on, like, the Vampire subreddit, like, what season should I stop at? Because I know that it drops the ball, and then just quickly goes downhill. And everyone said, just stop at season 3.
Okay.
Right?
That's not that far into it at all.
No. It has, like, 7 seasons. But what I heard, like, I've seen spoilers for, like, the last episode or whatever. I heard she doesn't end up with either of the 2 guys.
That's so stupid.
Yeah. And one of the guys is very much similar to Spike.
Okay, now we just know that she's a worthless character herself. Because if anybody says that they aren't gonna go, like, this is going straight back to Buffy. Literally, fucking Spike is the best character ever created.
I know a lot of people hate Spike.
Who?
It's a good amount of people because of season 6. I don't want to invalidate anyone's feelings about it, but
I disavow their existence.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I understand on a level why they would not like Spike because of season 6, and I don't want to invalidate anyone's opinions about it.
I will invalidate them.
I do really still like Spike, and my reasons for shipping Spuffy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have to justify my feelings about it, because I just have different feelings about the whole situation. Mm-hmm. You know? It would be different if, like, Buffy and Spike, after that whole event of season 6, like, didn't talk about their problems.
Yeah.
But the reason why, like, season 7 is, like, such a conflicting season is because every scene with Buffy and Spike is, like, the best written shit of all time. Like, and the reason why I really like them is because after the fallout of season 6, they really actually talk about their problems and, like, are, like, the most communicative couple on the whole show. Both shows. Which is, like, amazing to me. Because you would never expect that from either of them. They actually talk about their problems. And when it comes down to it, like, it's not up to us to forgive Spike. It's up to Buffy to forgive Spike. And she does. And I think her feelings on the matter most.
I think to bring it back.
Uh-huh.
Literally, I think that's one of the reasons why I hate Angel. Because
he makes decisions for Buffy without
talking, and then he just left without talking to her at all.
I think that's one of the main issues with Angel, and the main difference of why I prefer her with Spike than with Angel is that Spike, first of all, he wouldn't do that. Like, he wouldn't make decisions for her. Mm-hmm. He respects her enough to trust in how she feels about things. And her decision making, right?
I think
he wouldn't do something like that and then not tell her about it and then also not leave, right? Angel doesn't know how to. I think in a lot of ways, Angel views Buffy as like a kid that can't make decisions on her own, so he makes decisions for her, and he also tells her what her feelings are.
Yeah,
which is a main issue, I think. Which is why, like, I respect how them together was, like, their first fairy tale love. Like, I respect that placement there, but I don't think Buffy could ever actually get back together with Angel. Because she changes so much after he leaves.
Well, I think Buffy is, like, the main character and goes through so many different changes. But I legit actually think the biggest change in any character is with Spike.
Yeah, he has the most development in the show, I think.
I think he is, like, he changes for the better so much more than anybody else. Like, Buffy was already, like, a good character and was going towards that path of being a good character. She was just pushed and pulled one way or the other.
Yeah.
Spike changed trajectories completely. And I feel like it's so, like, almost underappreciated how much change he actually went through.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting that he got onto that path for completely selfish reasons.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't do that out of the good of his heart. He went onto that path specifically for his own personal gain, and eventually the trajectory had him become a better person, right? Mm-hmm. They just had to go through a lot of horrible things to get to that point. But like I said, I don't want to invalidate anyone's feelings about the end of season 6. Like, that's, like, those are their feelings. I would just prefer, like, I respect the way they feel about it. I would prefer that they respect the way that I feel about it. You know, one of the main issues being in the Buffy fandom is, like, I don't follow any Buffy things because it's such a contentious environment.
Yeah.
Like, I will follow for Buffy gift sets or whatever, but I don't like talking to other Buffy fans, honestly, because my opinions are so rooted and I'm so secure about my opinions that I really don't like how contentious other people in the fandom are.
That's one of the things that I thought was really funny. We've talked about that before, where you, like, don't want to talk to them directly, but you're willing to, like you have a tattoo and you want to have more tattoos for Buffy.
Yeah, no, it still is my favorite show of all time, and I will talk about how much I love it, or I'll post about my theories and whatever the fuck, but I don't like following people that are in the fandom because... And it's not even that they have different opinions that I have a problem with. It's just how angry other Buffy fans are. That, like, it really just brings me down. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not good for me to be exposed to all that bullshit. like, it really bothers me the way some people act. And it's just, like, I've just given up on trying to participate in the fandom at all.
Yeah, no. I've never been in the fandom enough. Like, I love the fuck out of the series, but I think for most series, I try to stay out of the fandom other than just being like, I'll tweet about it.
Yeah.
And then I'll ignore all the retweets or anything else that come at me.
Yeah.
For it.
I mean, as I got older, I've started to participate less and less in fandoms and more just follow for, like, fan art or fan fiction or whatever.
You want to know the last Vampire fandom I was, like, actually in?
What?
Was Rosario Vampire.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that even have a fandom anymore?
Yeah, it was in the Amino for it.
Oh man, Amino! I totally forgot about Amino.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I think I still have mine installed somewhere.
Yeah.
I haven't been on it in years. Last time I was on Amino, I was in high school.
I'm in a Discord from an Amino that I was a curator for.
Yeah.
And so I'm still a curator in the Discord, and I never fucking look at it.
I was a curator for the Goth Girls Amino.
Oh yeah.
And I had like for each October I had Goth Week. Goth Girl.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah,
Wait,
and I had a nominated, like, who was the Goth Girl of each week of October.
Well, because we're talking about fandoms and everything, who is best girl in Rosario Vampire?
Inner Mocha.
Okay.
To me.
I'll shake your hand on that. I'll agree with you.
I know you like Kurumu.
Kurumu is the best character ever. Like, she was my waifu up to until just recently.
I actually like all the characters except for the
waifu.
stupid Lolly Witch.
Yeah, Lolly Witch doesn't fucking exist.
She's
she's an annoying fucking. She was literally like trying. I don't remember. Was that before or after fucking Toradora?
What? Rosario Vampire?
Yeah.
I think that came out around the same time, actually.
I don't know. I feel like every single tsundere is trying to be Taiga from Toradora.
Yeah, she's like the only good one.
Yeah,
honestly.
And that's what I'm saying.
I don't
They're
know
all
what
trying to be her.
Taiga was like, because I don't like tsundere characters, but Taiga was like the only good one because, and I think what happened here is because we get perspectives of both Taiga and the dude. Right? Okay. Like, we see both of their perspectives. A lot of the times in these stupid, like, romantic comedy shows with the tsundere, we only see the perspective from the dude. So it just seems like she's just a bitch.
Yeah.
Right? But Taiga, we got to see how she felt about, what's-his-face.
Yeah.
We understood her feelings. We understood her home life.
Shit, what the fuck is his name?
Let me look it up.
I don't even remember. Anyways, let's talk about the one that I wanted to say for last.
What?
The best vampire anything that has ever existed. What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes. Yeah.
That is a fucking cast of tsunderes.
That is a cast of fucking idiots.
A cast of the most beautiful fucking.
It's a cast of dumbasses, especially Nandor. Because I feel like Nandor's like, I love you, Guiermo, but I'm also an idiot.
Oh my god. Taika Waititi is the mastermind of anything.
Jermaine Clement is main guy of the show, at least.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. But Taika Waititi is, like, I think a producer on it.
Well, for the show?
For the show, yeah. I don't think he has a lot of,
I know
it's mostly Jermaine Clement.
I know he did a lot for the movie.
Yeah, because it was both of them.
And I feel like both of them together, whether it's either together or separate, they're so fucking good at comedy.
They're so good at this, like, perfect brand of comedy that, like, we don't really get in America.
I need more Guiermo.
Yeah. Season 3, I think I told you this, season 3 just wrapped filming.
Yeah, I saw that. I've been following. Guillermo's the only person that I follow on Instagram.
Yeah, he's very, and he
follow the
updates
fuck
everything. Yeah, he updates everything.
I love him so much.
The reason what we do in the shadows, though, is the perfect vampire thing, is because it's by vampire fans.
It is. It literally is. It's not by the vampire fans that normally write vampire like movies.
Yeah,
it's by vampire fans that are like we're the memers.
Yeah,
of
they're the
vampire.
They're the vampire fans that are like me or some other like because I think Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement really like vampires. Mm-hmm. They really like vampires. They've seen a lot of vampire content. And they really appreciate a lot of what is about the vampire world enough to also poke fun at it and also critique it in a way that doesn't feel mean-spirited. Like, I think a lot of vampire parody stuff is by people who don't really understand or respect vampires.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and it really shows when I watch a lot of vampire parody stuff. It's like, these people don't even like vampires. Why are they here?
I feel like this is either gonna have you on my side or completely against me. I feel like most, like any parodies, are just trying to be freaking Scary Movie, but they don't realize that Scary Movie's already a shit movie on its own.
Right, and even then, I still like the first 2 Scary Movies.
I like the first Scary Movie, only the first one.
I think the second one's better.
I don't remember the second one.
Yeah, I think the second one is better, in my personal opinion. But also, it's made by people who actually were having fun.
Yeah.
Like, the first 2 Scary Movies, right, were made by, what are the brothers?
Yes. I'll just agree with you, yes. But, like, I agree with you on that, though, that, like, I feel like most parody movies, especially, like...
The Wayans brothers.
Wayans brothers.
They were having fun.
Yeah, they were having fun, and
like,
I feel like that's what you should do.
Yeah, like, even if you don't like the brand of comedy that is the first 2 Scary Movies, like, and I totally understand, because it's very 2000s comedy, which, is, like, the fastest aging type comedy.
Yeah,
like,
it is,
even
100%.
Comedy movies from the 80s age better than movies from the early 2000s.
Well, that's what I mean, is that, like, literally, it would be so much better if people that, like, enjoyed what they were doing were making these parodies, other than just like, I like making parodies, so I'm just gonna choose a genre that I don't care about and then
and you can really tell because the Wayans brothers, they didn't work on the other Scary movies. All of the movies, like, they only worked on the first 2, and you could tell right away because it was clearly made by, like, soulless corporations after that.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't like the first 2 Scary Movies, and I don't blame you if you don't, because it's a very specific brand of comedy that is not for everyone, and it definitely isn't, it's not good comedy, I mean, I guess. But they were having fun with it. Like, it's very earnest. It's very earnest type comedy.
I think this is why Guillermo needs more attention. Yeah. Just in general. Just that whole show is just a fucking godsend.
Well, yeah, and
parodies.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I think it's the perfect, like, genre parody.
Well, and it brought so many more people that, like, I would talk about What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, and nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about.
Yeah.
As soon as the show came out, and it has the 3rd season coming out, and everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, well, and it's like, you fucking normies.
Yeah, you fucking know. It's real.
You weren't there for the movie. You're not real fans. But, like, I remember when it was just the movie, and it, even with just the movie, it was still the perfect vampire parody. Like, I think it's the ultimate of genre parodies. At least for me, because me being a huge vampire fan, I liked that I got all of the references that they were doing, and they were subtle references. Mostly subtle.
Yeah.
Like, all the fact that, like, there's enough Anne Rice references that it almost seems like they're just actually in the same universe as the Vampire Chronicles, even though Guillermo references Armand from the movie.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, look, this is me dressed as Armand. Right? And it's like...
I love that they brought fucking Blade into the show.
The cameo episode was so good.
It was so good. I love that they said that. They literally said, where's
Wesley?
Yeah, where's Wesley?
Yeah, because all the actors are just called by their first name, but they're actual vampires.
Oh, I hate it so much.
My favorite part is when they reference, like, other actors that played vampires that couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, where's Kiefer?
Yeah.
Where's Kiefer? Where's Tom and Brad? Where's Rob? Rob couldn't make it. And Robert Pattinson. And I forget the one girl who's from
Robert Pattinson would go out of his way to, like, be anything but fucking the Twilight vampire. If he was to go into that show, he would do anything to not be that vampire.
Well, and it's funny that you said that because what's her Evan, not Evan, the woman that's from True Blood who's cameoed in that, she's like, Rob couldn't make it, he wanted to leave it all behind. or the and then they're like, where's Tom and Brad? And they're like, they didn't want to come because Brad Pitt really hated playing Louis.
Did he really?
Yeah, he hated.
I never knew that.
He hated that movie. He hated it.
Why? It's such a good movie.
It is. But Tom Cruise really, really loved that movie, and he loved playing Lestat. So it's like they really were perfectly cast.
Yeah.
Because even though Brad Pitt really hated playing Louis, that kind of went into his performance because that's accurate to Louis. Louis really hated being there. You know? And Tom Cruise had so much fun playing Lestat, and Lestat loves playing Lestat. So it worked out. It worked out really well.
I love it all.
But I loved that they were just playing themselves, but as vampires. So they had Tilda Swinton from Only Lovers Left Alive. She's great in that movie, by the way. They even had, like, obscure references, like Pee Wee Herman was in it.
I don't remember that.
Pee Wee Herman was there.
Wait, what? I don't remember that.
Yeah, the guy who played Pee Wee Herman was in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, and he played a vampire.
Oh no, I remember that. Okay, yeah no.
He was there, and like no one remembers that movie except for like diehard Buffy fans.
I remember that. I actually watched that movie before you forced me to watch the Buffy show.
Yeah, right.
And that was like the reason why I didn't want to watch the Buffy show.
Because you liked the movie, or
I didn't care for the movie. I thought it was a very mediocre movie.
Yeah, it's definitely that.
I was younger and I thought that everything was a good movie back then.
And then you watched the Buffy movie and you're like...
And then I watched the Buffy movie, and I think it was not the first, but one of the first movies that was like, that was very mediocre.
It's not a good movie. It's definitely not. It does remind me of Lost Boys, but all it does is make me want to watch Lost Boys.
Oh shit, we haven't talked about Lost Boys at all. Thank you. That's all I need.
Of course I fucking did. I talk to you all the time about how gay Lost Boys is. Of course I incorporated that into it.
I love how, like, Lost Boys is the one show that we didn't talk about at all. And it's literally the one that you just come out of nowhere and just like, we're watching Lost Boys again.
It's a lot like Labyrinth to me, where I can just turn it on in any occasion. Mm-hmm. Like Lost Boys is one of those movies where no matter what mood I'm in, I can watch it.
The last time you and I watched it, you told me about the fucking the glitter that he put in the blood. Yeah. And I never noticed that.
Yeah, you never noticed that. They did it to make it look otherworldly.
I want. And this is my headcanon, is that's why Robert Pattinson is glittery in the...
That doesn't make any sense, because the vampire's physicality in the Twilight movies is completely different. They're like stone in Twilight. Yeah,
but they're also just written by an idiot.
Yeah, they're like crystallized,
Yeah.
Look, I don't like Twilight, but I do like that the vampires are different. Like, very different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, vampires don't sparkle. Like, I'm not one of those idiots. Like, I'm okay if they change, if authors change, like, the way vampires act. Like, I'm totally okay with it. And I thought it was really cool that the vampires in Twilight were, like, crystallized stone. Like, that's what they were. They weren't just, like, dead bodies walking.
Dude,
they were like, action.
I literally actually don't remember anything other than, like, what I saw in the movies the first time. Because I watched it with my ex years ago. And it was literally just the best but worst experience of my life. Because it was like, these movies are, like, at the very best, they're mediocre.
Not even that.
I legit think, I don't remember which one it is. I think it might be either part 1 or 2 of the last one. Mm-hmm. I think is the best one out of the whole show. Out of all of them.
Part 1, probably. Because part 2 has the CGI baby.
You imprinted on my daughter?
Oh yeah, and the weird pedo shit.
You imprinted on my daughter?
Yeah, I think you're talking about Breaking Down 1, because Breaking Down 1 is, like, before the baby shows up.
Yeah, that's probably the one.
Breaking Down 2 is the ugly CGI baby, and then Jacob is now a pedophile.
What the fuck is his name? I think he was only in the one movie in part 1. Breaking Dawn part... Like, I think he was, like, brought in by part 1, or I don't remember the rest of the fucking movies.
Actually, I didn't, the last Twilight movie I saw in theaters, when I was still a Twilight fangirl, was Eclipse. That was the last one I saw in theaters. And then when Breaking Dawn came out, I had moved past Twilight. Like, I had moved on past that.
Yeah.
I grew up a little bit.
Who the fuck? I can't find it now. Who the fuck is that hot guy? That, like, he's just... I think he was, like, literally the main antagonist of the movie.
Which one?
I think it was either 1 or 2. It was the one where they had the big fight. Like, the big...
Are you talking about Michael Sheen?
It was not Michael Sheen. There's no... Was it Michael Sheen?
Well, what did he look like?
I'm gonna look it up.
It was Michael Sheen, wasn't it?
Holy fuck, it was Michael Sheen. The whole thing, literally, I did, like...
I wasn't...
My whole thing is I never noticed that it was Michael Sheen.
Like, you didn't know that was Michael Sheen?
I didn't know that was Michael Sheen, and he was literally my favorite character in the whole of fucking that.
That's because he was the only one having fun.
I think he was the only one that existed in that whole fucking thing.
I feel like he was the only actor that was having fun with his character, because I know that Kristian Stewart and Robert Pattinson hated their characters, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't know a lot. Or at least I don't know a lot about how Taylor Lautner felt about playing Jacob. But I can't imagine it felt nice.
I don't know if he liked it or not. I know that he hated taking off his shirt all the time.
Yeah. Well, and he was still a teenager, right? And you had all these, like, middle-aged moms who were also fans of Twilight, like, way over-sexualizing him. I can't imagine that felt nice.
I don't know. I don't know every time I see him, all I can see is fucking Shark Boy. So I can't sexualize him, even though he has a very fucking muscular figure.
Right.
I cannot sexualize him.
Well, and the way he took his shirt off sometimes was just so ridiculous. Like, they were looking for every excuse to just have him take his shirt off. Yeah, no. They were literally just like, how can we make him look like John Cena entering the ring every single time? Yeah. And to be fair, like, I haven't seen Taylor Lautner in a lot of stuff. I think he's not acting anymore. I don't think he acts at all anymore. Well, he's not a very good actor. At least not in Twilight. But to be fair... He didn't even come back for the Shark Boy and Lava Girl movie. No, he didn't. which is like, what's the point then?
Oh, that made me so angry. I was just like, that was the one thing that you could have came back and everybody would have loved you for.
Yeah. He wasn't a good actor in Twilight, but to be fair, I mean, no one really was.
Yeah.
I know Kristian Stewart is actually a really good actor, but I think a lot of directors don't use her correctly.
Yeah. I will 100% shit on her in that movie, though, because she never closed her mouth.
Do you not have you listened to the commentary, the Twilight commentary?
No.
It's so hilarious. She talks about the weird directions they gave her for that movie. Yeah, like, I think
don't tell me that was something that they wanted her to do. To always have her mouth open.
I remember one time they told her, she was describing it in the commentary, and they're like, Kristen, I need you to flutter your eyes a lot, like you're in this weird fairy tale land. She's like, why?
I feel like everybody gives them so much shit for being in those movies, but I think if they were in any other movie, I think they would have been better.
Yeah, because we know Robert Pattinson's a good actor.
Well, yeah, that's because he was Cedric Diggory.
Yeah, but he's also been in a lot of other things where he's a really good actor. Kristen Stewart, I know, can have a lot of good range. Like, she was in Runaways, which I think was really good. She was she was the sister in Zathura.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I didn't even think that was her.
Yeah, because she was alive in that movie.
Dude, holy shit! She was able to breathe.
Yeah, I think Kristen Stewart's a really good actor, but a lot of people don't use her correctly.
Oh my god! Didn't even know that was Kristen Stewart. That I was literally. Oh no.
A lot of movies. I was gonna
talk so much shit about her in fucking Twilight, and then like she's my childhood crush from Zathura.
Yeah,
I didn't even know those were the same people.
I think a lot of movies just don't play to her strengths. I think she's got specific strengths, and when they're played to, she's really good.
Yeah.
I really liked her in The Runaways. You should watch that. She's great in that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, to say an actor is not very good based on seeing Twilight, it's not a good comparison. Like, you can write off basically any actor in those movies, and that's because those movies fundamentally are not good and don't have good direction. So, I mean, not fair to say that an actor is bad.
So, I
think...
get
back to Lost Boys.
We can talk more Lost Boys. Yeah, go ahead.
That movie's gay.
That movie is so gay.
I made a post a while back that basically said that
yeah,
that Lost Boys and Jennifer's Body are like two sides of the same queer horror coin.
I don't think I've ever seen Jennifer's Body.
Oh my god. We'll have to watch that. We have to watch that together. I have it. Like, I bought it. It's mine.
Yeah, let's watch that. Oh, so I think a good wrapping up for this whole thing, because we're getting close to 2 hours. Who is your best boy in all of the things that we've best boy or best girl?
What?
In all of the things that we brought up today.
You can't ask me that. I'm not monogamous.
No, do it right now.
No.
You have to.
Oh my god, I can't do that.
I can 100% say that it's either Guillermo or Spike are my best boy / best girl.
So are we sticking with vampires then? Because Guillermo's not a vampire.
Guillermo's not a vampire, so no, just somebody in our.
Oh man, but it always changes depending on the mood I'm in.
Well, then just say what you say now, and then next time you can change it.
At the moment, Carl Heisenberg. 100%.
Heisenberg?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I made him my lock screen. Yeah,
you are.
I made a shirtless Heisenberg my lock screen at the moment. So it's him all the way right now. He's about to make me act up. It's crazy.
Well, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah.
That's the end of the podcast. Fuck you. We'll talk about something completely different next time.
Hopefully not.
Okay, bye.